Hi friends and welcome to Career Kul, the educational Gurukul. So we are a firm which tries to tell you कि दुनिया में कितने तरह के careers हो सकते हैं और उन careers में किस किस तरह की job profile हो सकती है. So we do a personality test, an aptitude test and an interest test. And on the basis of that we try to tell you कि these are the careers which are perfect for you and these are the careers जिस पे आपको behavioral level पर या skill level पर थोड़े से changes लाने पड़ेंगे. So apart from this, we review different universities on the basis of placements, on the basis of faculty, on the basis of student culture, faculty culture, international reputation, India में उनकी reputation कैसी है, and all of this, then we see, are you a cultural fit in that university or not? And secondly, is this university, will this help you to achieve your long-term goals? So this is all about career counseling, and this is Career Kul, the educational Gurukul. Today we have invited a very special guest, and today the topic is also different. आज हम लोग liberal arts के बारे में बात करेंगे. उससे अगर मैं simply बोलूं तो हम लोग ये बात करेंगे कि अगर आप art से हैं, commerce से हैं या science से हैं, तो अगर आप BA की डिग्री कर रहे हैं तो उसमें क्या-क्या स्पेशलाइजेशंस हो सकते हैं. अगर आप BSc की डिग्री कर रहे हैं तो उसमें क्या-क्या स्पेशलाइजेशन हो सकते हैं. एंड हमारे जो आज गेस्ट है, हमारी जो गेस्ट हैं, शी इज फ्रॉम अशोका यूनिवर्सिटी. ये बहुत ही ज्यादा हाईली रेप्यूटेड यूनिवर्सिटी है. इनके कुछ ऐसे प्रोग्राम्स हैं जो मुझे भी नहीं पता था, और मुझे इतने ज्यादा फेमस प्रोग्राम्स हैं मुझे नहीं पता था. एंड जो स्टूडेंट्स SRCC से पढ़े हैं, LSR से पढ़े हैं, दे टोल्ड मी कि जो इनके प्रोग्राम्स हैं, दे आर वेरी नाइस. सो आई स्टार्टेड रिव्यूइंग देम. So today let me introduce, हम लोग आज बात हर एक टॉपिक के बारे में करेंगे. फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर आप आर्ट से हो तो साइकोलॉजी, हिस्ट्री, ज्योग्राफी, इकोनॉमिक्स. अगर आप साइंस से हो तो कंप्यूटर साइंस, जूलॉजी, बॉटनी, ये केमिस्ट्री, मैथ्स. अगर आपको अंडर ग्रेड में पढ़ना है, मतलब ग्रेजुएशन उसमें करना है, इन सब के बारे में बात करेंगे. प्लस हम जिससे बात करने वाले हैं, मैं आपको उनका प्रोफाइल एक बार बताता हूँ एंड हाउ लर्नड शी इज. एंड केवल उनसे बात करके आप लोग आज काफी कुछ सीख सकते हैं. इंडस्ट्री के बारे में उनसे पूछिए, डिफरेंट सब्जेक्ट्स के बारे में पूछिए, एंड प्लस आप उनकी यूनिवर्सिटी के बारे में डेफिनेटली आप उनसे वो भी पूछ सकते हैं. सो विद अस वी हैव 𝐒𝐮𝐵𝗫𝐻. शी इज द रीजनल मैनेजर, एंड इनका जो नाम है दैट्स द नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न नेम. So it's a little different for us because we come from me, because I'm coming from UP, but it's a different name. So maybe when she's here with us, we'll ask her about the meaning as well. So she's the regional manager for the Office of Admissions and Outreach at Ashoka University. अब इनकी प्रोफाइल आप समझिए, और जो लोग साइकोलॉजी के स्टूडेंट्स हैं या जो लोग पब्लिक हेल्थ के स्टूडेंट्स हैं या PR के स्टूडेंट्स हैं, आप इनसे अपने और क्वेश्चन भी पूछ सकते हैं. She has a background in clinical psychology, so that's very nice, from LSR, Delhi University, and in public health policy and leadership from Nosal Institute of Public Health, University of Melbourne. So that's very nice, very cool and very nice. She has worked with the Public Health Foundation of India in collaboration with the World Health Organization and Ministry of Health and Family Affairs. She has combined her background in research with a passion for travel and has worked with ecological sensitive travel companies such as G Adventure and National Geographic. तो अब जर्नलिज्म के भी जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं, अगर वो भी चाहें कुछ पूछना, how to get a job, they are also most welcome to ask their questions. In her current role at Ashoka University, she loves working with teachers, parents, and young people, and believes that with the right guidance, they can be the truest catalyst of social change we need today. So, तो ये जहां ये कहीं ना कहीं करियर काउंसलिंग की भी बात आ जाती है कि अगर हम राइट डायरेक्शन में चीजों को, आपके डिस्ट्रैक्शंस को हटाएं, तो मे बी वी कैन गेट यू टू अ पॉइंट वेयर यू आर द कैटलिस्ट फॉर द चेंज. So let me welcome ma'am to our channel. Ma'am, a very warm welcome to our channel, and we are looking forward to talking to you today. So ma'am, if you could start with about yourself, or maybe about Ashoka University a little bit.
Thank you so much, Sagar, for that very warm welcome.
Yeah.
I think you've already spoken a lot about me. I don't need to, say anything else. Yes, thank you to everybody who's joined us today. I'd like to begin with, speaking about liberal education, the status, the condition of Indian education currently, what challenges have been faced in the whole education system that we've faced in the country so far. So, let me know what you'd like me to share first regarding liberal education, or about Ashoka, and then maybe I can start sharing my slides.
Okay. Maybe I'll just check if some students are there online, if they're asking questions. Before that, let me just ask you, ma'am, because we are not very well versed with this term liberal arts, because बहुत से लोगों को नहीं पता होता, they just know arts. So how is liberal arts different from arts, and what is it all about?
Okay, sure, I can do that. Let's begin with that. That's a good place to start. I hope you can see my slides.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So this is my favorite description of liberal education, or, the two terms are interchangeable. We also call it liberal arts and sciences, because especially in India, there is this conception of, thinking of arts and immediately associating it with humanities.
Yes.
So liberal arts and sciences, or liberal education, they're one and the same. So this is my favorite description, which talks about empowering any individual, towards learning. So liberal education is an approach to learning, any kind of learning. It can be the sciences, it can be humanities, it can be the social sciences. And, you also are empowered with the skills to cope with complexity, diversity, and change. And very necessarily, we also have a broad-based education, and then we go deeper into a particular chosen field of study. So I like this little description here, which talks about the cultivation of a free human mind. So liberal education is really, it originated at least 2,000 years ago, to the time of Plato and Socrates and Aristotle, when Greece was the center of the world at the time. That was a time when society was divided into very black and white terms, and you were either a slave or you were a free man. And if you were a slave, you had your work cut out for you. You had your master, unfortunately, but if you were a free man also, in order to function as an average Greek citizen or Roman citizen at the time, you needed to school yourself on what was called the liberal arts. The arts, the education that was worthy of a free man, a man at liberty. So that was pretty much it. So this means that, at that time, the arts spanned the sciences, the social sciences, and humanities. And this is true of, the education system of the Ivy League universities like Harvard, of Carnegie Mellon, Berkeley, Yale, etc., even MIT, which many of us believe is a purely technological university, but it's actually, it's actually a liberal arts university at its very core. So, yeah, and so they, just to give you an example of Harvard University, if you were to have a bachelor's degree in mathematics at Harvard, you would have a BA in maths, not a BSc. So that is something for us Indians, that's something that's really interesting. It takes a bit of time to actually process that maths can be given as a BA degree, a Bachelor of Arts. So this is how the arts were actually propounded. And so at Ashoka as well, this is what we have tried to do in the past 10 years. We started in 2011. And with an interdisciplinary approach, necessarily, it has to be not only, you not only have a breadth of education. Here you have these different disciplines. This is called a T-shaped education. And this is supposed to be the education that gives you the most marketable degree if the research, if you take the research into account, the research of the past 4 or 5 years. So, you have these different disciplines, you're exposed to them, but not only that, you also understand how they talk to each other. For example, students at Ashoka, when we just, we were entering into this COVID period, we were at the mercy of this virus. And in May, the final year assessments were happening. And so the students in economics and finance, they were given this question of, whether to, analyzing this virus through the R0. So R0 is, a formula that is designed to look at, the propensity or the likelihood of a particular disease and how likely it will replicate in a susceptible or a vulnerable population.
I mean, in short, I think so. R0, if just for the sake of the viewers, R0 ka matlab is it the same way we say कि एक आदमी कितने लोगों को infect करेगा? R naught like
Exactly.
kind का या इस तरह का? Okay. The
That's
student
right.
is like R naught is how many people can it infect one person? Okay.
Absolutely. So, when looking at this, they were also looking at the history of different coronaviruses and the SARS viruses of the past. They were looking at the 1920 Spanish flu and all of that. And so all of this informs and they talk to each other. The disciplines start to speak to each other. So economics is speaking with history, which is also informing biology and then informing technology as well in order to find out what we can do in terms of preventing or vaccination or any other forms of combating this virus. So this is the kind of hands-on application-based learning that is happening. So you learn things at a theoretical level, but you try to apply them, through talking to other disciplines. So this is your broad-based learning. And then, of course, you take a deeper dive into your chosen field of study. And, here, going back to this slide again, that is where the freedom to choose to what you want to study really comes in, because in the past 100 years or so, we've had students where we everything is very exam based, including careers. Even when we want to get into the government, we have to sit for an exam. Everything is very test oriented. Also, because of the fact that we survived through the whole British time, and therefore and the British they weren't really interested in passion oriented unlike the US, where you wanted to work
They
towards your
wanted
passion.
structure. They wanted structure, organizational structure.
Exactly, that's absolutely right. So that's why we inherited this form of exam. Whether it's the JEE or whether it's the medical, whether it's the UPSC examinations. However, I think it's really important because we're entering an age where none of this is going to be important anymore because of the fact that I just want to put out a few facts here. I'm sure we have seen some version of these facts, but we know that in the next 10 or 15 years, there's going to be a whole lot of displacement of jobs, including the skills that are required to do them. And this is the kind of scenario that we're looking at in the next 10 years. And students now who are doing their education, I think you really need to know what are the kind of skills you need and the kind of skills you need to survive through this real huge change, because we have embraced technology so completely in our lives. We're in the fourth industrial revolution where everything is practically defined by technology. We are, even this webinar would not be possible without technology. And on the left here, we see the kind of jobs, the kind of careers that may be subject to a huge amount of change. And in the middle, we see the kind of jobs or the kind of careers that may survive, research-centric jobs, empathy-centric jobs, jobs in the creative space, and environmental jobs as well, because of the state that our planet is in today.
What is the source of this information?
I can send it to you. Actually, we have the source actually.
Okay, it's been taken from different areas, from research papers.
Right.
And
yes.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Yes.
And ma'am, one more question I wanted to ask. Ma'am, this is very advanced because what you said, I've never heard of this such a thing like BA Maths. I've never heard. I never thought that it is possible. So this whole thing, the liberal arts, is a way of pedagogy. Is it a way of teaching?
Absolutely. So
Okay.
It is an approach to learning. It is an approach to learning computer science. It's an approach to learning mathematics. It's an approach to learning history. So you can be a historian or a history student, and you can be a liberal arts scholar. You can be a computer science student, and you can be a liberal arts scholar.
Ma'am, no one would know this, I think. So it's very few people might know this. Ma'am, is it not very advanced for the Indian society as of now? Because this is the first time I am hearing. I never knew this is like something like this. This is very interesting.
I will have to disagree with you, Sagar, because even the Prime Minister has started saying that we should have public universities that have that have liberal education now. And
but
IITs,
liberal education as such, the term, I didn't know that this means this, that it means actually having knowledge of everything and then maybe going deeper into something and an interdisciplinary study. I didn't know this.
And in fact, this is not a new idea. It's just that we as Indians or South Asians have become, and it's such a competitive field because of just because of the sheer amount of people we have in the country. So we are constantly trying to fit into the system and not giving ourselves the space to change. However, I think it is very hopeful because even the recently released national education policy has provided for all of these changes, and we'll be talking about all of this. And we at the end of
people are scared. People are scared that if I study everything and I do not really focus on something, then maybe I do not get a job, because the end point for maybe 60% of the student population is getting skilled in a way, or maybe not even getting skilled. It is like getting enrolled in a university which will provide placements. This is the end line for many of the students.
Exactly.
And this is a little more advanced in a way that who wants knowledge and exploration, and then maybe go into something. Like for me, I am a BTech engineer, and then I did MTech, and then I did psychology, and now I am working in the career counseling field. So when I look at this, I can understand what can come out of this, but it's still very nice. Okay.
Yeah. So the thing is, when you talk about the careers and how it'll do in the real world, this is the need of the hour. In fact, a T-shaped education is actually the need of the hour. And not only that, we have people like, even here on the slide that we have here, we have a very young Milton who's meeting an old Galileo who's under house arrest. It is because of this meeting and this great, the discussions and the letters that followed. This is John Milton, who's coming from a completely humanities background. And of course, Galileo is completely coming from the sciences. However, they were curious about each other. They wanted to learn about each other so much. This curiosity then fostered, into something really great. And we have the world's first modern cosmic poem that was written by, John Milton, who was himself a deeply religious man, and he didn't actually agree with all of Galileo's views. But in the true spirit of liberal education, he was curious enough to explore this, the sciences and astronomy and all of that.
The paradigm of it.
So and this has directly contributed to his writing the Paradise Lost, that most of us know, is the world's first modern cosmic poem, and is directly influenced by his his relationship with Galileo and the constellations and the galaxies. So and if we look at, a century later at Isaac Newton, he was a product of the liberal education, of the liberal arts system. And 2 centuries later, more recent to us, we look at Niels Bohr, we look at Albert Einstein. They were all products of a liberal education system.
As in liberal education system, you mean the schools that they went to or the universities that they went to, they were actually pursuing something like this? Because liberal education approach can also be, then we can say even Steve Jobs is from liberal arts, because he went to the university and then he went to different classes and he was just exploring, and then suddenly he came out. Or maybe even, not Mark Zuckerberg, but at least Steve Jobs would come in the area.
Definitely
of
Mark
liberal
Zuckerberg
arts.
as well. Mark Zuckerberg had a minor in psychology.
Okay.
Yes. And Larry Page too. Google is so fast today because of the fact that they say that Google is the fastest browser today because of the fact that it is influenced by Larry Page's desired tempo in music, because he was a music minor. So, all of this, this combination, this coming together of different fields always contributes to innovation and to something groundbreaking. Even Narayan Murthy, who is actually one of our founders too, Narayan Murthy had given a speech at
He's the founder of Ashoka University.
He's one of our founders.
Okay,
we have more than 100 founders. But Narayan Murthy of Infosys, he himself, in a speech that he was giving to the graduates of the Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore, he was talking about how how even a place like MIT or Stanford has come out with so many inventions because it's a product of liberal education, because their computer scientists are also looking at psychology, are also looking at anthropology. Similarly, the humanities students also have a really good grasp of business and technology too. So this coming together of different fields and then specializing is, so you're not compromising on what you're specializing. You just start with a broad base, a really good base, and then you specialize. So that's the
Ma'am, I have a very important question. Can I ask you now, or maybe
Oh,
after the
yes, yes,
slides?
please. Yeah.
Ma'am, the important question right now here is, if you go to a BTech college, right now they do have subjects like economics or industrial psychology, or this is what all the BTech students might have been studying. So
Sure.
though it's not very huge, but they do have certain other subjects. But the problem is the structure is that culturally it is not acceptable to them that these are important subjects. They think ye padh ke kya hoga. So, okay, we have come to liberal arts. Now, what we have done is we have taken everyone and put up at the same. All importance of all subjects is same now for them. But how will you cultivate? How are you cultivating that culture? Because the word that you used is curiosity. If it's not, there is no curiosity. Why would someone want to learn it?
But we do have curious students, maybe
Yeah.
not in majority right now, but it's coming,
Okay.
which is why Ashoka has also been able to flourish thanks to the curiosity of people. And also because, if I may just talk about the vision behind, the university.
Sure, please.
So Ashoka was started with a vision to create this, this uh, university of global standing, which was accessible financially to people from all walks of life. So this vision was shared by. Initially we had four founding fathers, as we would call them. These are people like Ashish Dhawan, who's the founder of Central Square Foundation and Christ Capital. He's the guy who basically brought venture capitalism into the country. He's also a prominent philanthropist. Deep Kalra of Make My Trip, Pramath Raj Sinha, who is the founding dean of Indian School of Business, Vineet Gupta of Jamboree Education. He also recently started, Blaksha University, and which is very interesting because it's looking at liberal arts, at a liberal arts approach to technical education, in fact, Blaksha. So that's Vineet Gupta. And then finally, Sanjeev Bikhchandani of Naukri.com. So as you can see, there's a lot of entrepreneuring mindset that's also gone into the founding of Ashoka. And then this has, this idea really took the imagination, took the minds of many of the leaders in public and private space. As you can see, we can't obviously fit them into one slide because they grew to more than 120. Now I think we have close to 150 founders, and it is through their generosity and their spearheading that Ashoka has been able to survive and been able to get the very best of the faculty on board as well. So of course, people like Narayan Murthy, people behind Bain and Company, McKinsey and Company, they're also part of our founding. They're part of our founders as well. So the fact that research is so compromised in India is very, very worrying. And this kind of faculty, which engages in very ongoing, very robust research with their students right from the first year onwards. As you can see, even on this slide, most of our faculty is Indian faculty, but they were not teaching in India at the time. So when we started in 2011, the year before that, when they were trying to get the faculty on board, they found out that they would get the academic freedom to work and study and do research at Ashoka. So they would not be confined to teaching research that is 70 to 80 years old, which happens in the country. Most of our, the state of research is really, really, really bad in the country, if I have to say. So, most students I studied psychology more than 10 years ago. And not much has changed since then, in terms of research, and it's really kind of sad. And so, the kind of research, therefore, that comes out is that directly contributes to not only higher education learning, but also to learning even in high school education as well.
And
So
ma'am,
we
how
have.
do you design your curriculum?
So the curriculum is designed by the faculty, keeping India, keeping its relevance to India in mind, and also taking success stories, best case scenarios from these places that they have, studied and worked in and taught in. So we have our very own unique kind of curriculum that we structure. This is just a look at our leadership. They're both from Cambridge and Oxford. Professor Rudrangshu continues to teach history in the Ashoka classroom. And coming to the undergraduate program, so we are in compliance with the UGC, which mandates that every university graduate needs to have one degree and 2 co-curricular courses. And beyond that, it's up to the university. So we have, of course, that is the bare minimum that you have to take. We have structured the undergraduate program in such a way that you get your T-shaped education, and through your foundation courses, your majors and minors, and your co-curricular courses. We also have an optional 4th year program, which is the postgraduate diploma in advanced studies and research. So that's completely optional. And so this degree is granted to you. The Ashoka degree gives you a BA or a BSc honors in a discipline of your choosing in 3 years. Now, we have this optional 4th year, and the National Education Policy has now mandated for 4 years of undergraduation. So whenever that is implemented, we'll make this mandatory as well. But otherwise, we've always kept it optional, because a lot of our students also, they apply abroad. They go abroad to study for their masters as well. So as you asked, Sagar, how this is structured, this gives you your bar of your T, the horizontal, the breadth of your education. So these are the foundation courses, and these foundation courses are offered by any self-respecting liberal arts university, whether it's MIT or Harvard or Stanford. Of course, we have kept them as close as possible and in relevance to India and the world. So in literature and the world here, as you can see, you might be doing Shakespeare, but you might be also doing Shakespeare and whether he has anything at all in common with Bollywood or with Indian cinema. When you do Indian civilization, you might be deconstructing Mangal Pandey to see whether he was actually a brave martyr or whether he was an accidental hero. If you're doing principles of science, your professor of computer science, if he's teaching you principles of science, your professor of computer science might be talking about Greek mythology and its relation to, modern day coding or cryptography. So, this ensures that whether you're a student of psychology or sociology, you will not be afraid of thinking like a scientist. You will not be afraid of, data or numbers. You will be able to do a randomized control trial later.
Ma'am, we really have to meet some of your students and really have to see them when they start the university and when they finish, and then just see that how is it shaping up like their personality, because these things are like when we were young, our parents used to say, ye to karna hi hai, these are some good habits, read this, do this. And from that, we learn a lot of life skills, which we might later use, we might not even know. But this is exactly what they used to tell us, ye sab padhna hi hai. And now I'm seeing, so I would really love to see this. If you want someone to do that research, maybe I can do it for you, because I'm equipped in that. Let's see that how is the personality being affected.
Any research that you can do, we would be most welcome. Yeah, we would be most happy to participate.
Okay, ma'am, sure.
Yeah. So, I just wanted to mention that these foundation courses, you do them only in your, you concentrate on them in your first semester, but you can continue to complete them throughout your 3 years at Ashoka. So these are just one-time courses that you don't have to do again and again. But in your first semester, you're focusing on them. In your second semester, you start taking courses, maybe a combination of your foundation courses, but also you start taking courses towards your, towards your major subject, which is basically your degree subject. So this is the whole program at Ashoka. We have 21 different majors. Majors just mean your degree subject. 21 different majors. Some of them are single subjects, so they're called pure majors. Some of them are interdisciplinary. So these are called interdisciplinary majors. But you get one degree out of them. So you can choose from anywhere from economics to English and media studies to biology or chemistry, etc. They have some prerequisites, as you can see, computer science, economics, maths, and physics. To study these subjects at Ashoka, you will need mathematics at, in 11th and 12th. If you don't have mathematics, then you can't do them in the bachelor's, during the bachelor's. You can't take them up at the bachelor level, but otherwise you can, you can take up even biology or chemistry without having taken them in 11th and 12th.
Okay.
Right.
So, ma'am, this is really something very new for me. I've not talked to anyone who had such an innovative curriculum. So I'm really falling short of words, like exactly what should I ask you, because this is very different for me. Ma'am, if you could maybe tell us a little bit about this is okay. We understood this is a curriculum, and ma'am, something about the fees and the scholarship, how much the students will have to pay, and what are the scholarships like?
Absolutely. Yeah, sure. I'll do that. Okay. So I didn't speak a lot about the minors, but that's okay. The minors are just fewer subjects in a particular degree, and yeah, one important thing I didn't mention was you have 1.5 years to choose your degree. So when you enter Ashoka, you enter as a blank student. You don't enter as a physics student or as an economics student. You have 1.5 years to decide what exactly it is that you're going to major in. So this gives you that freedom to choose what you want to study. And this is true of all liberal arts universities in the world. All right. So uh, yeah, we'll be coming to placements as well later. Just okay. So with regard to the fees, I wanted to mention that, we are a philanthropic collective, and because of the number of our founders and their generosity, we are, we're India's largest philanthropic collective. So Ashoka has set aside more than, around 300 to 400 crore for financial aid, and out of which 186 crore has already been given away in financial aid. So we are not out there to make a profit, not at all. We know that a brilliance and aptitude comes from it doesn't come from only one sector of society or one section of society. So in order to respect that and to stay true to that vision, this is our initiative. So this financial aid or scholarship is very unique in Ashoka. It's given on the basis of need. So this is, even Berkeley and Harvard, Stanford, etc., they also give need-based scholarships, not as much as they used to, 20 years ago. But now, Ashoka, because of its founders, we are able to offer students, up to 100% aid. As long as they get a full admission, a full confirmed offer of admission. So I would encourage students to be able to concentrate on their admissions process. Don't worry about the financial aid or the fees so much, because as long as you get through, Ashoka will make sure that your needs will be met. And at all points of time, approximately at least 50% of our students, at least one out of every two students are on financial aid, both in the undergraduate and in the postgraduate programs. And this need-based financial aid means that it depends on, how much the student can pay. So it's in order to bridge this gap between the cost of the program and the student's ability to pay. So I hope that's sort of clear. We have students from army backgrounds to civil services, many respectable backgrounds who apply for this scholarship and they get it. And finally, to come to the fees, the fees without any aid are 9.4 lakhs per annum. This includes residence cost because we're a fully residential university. So this includes residence cost as well as tuition cost. And on the right here, you see, the breakup of the last batch. So this is the class of 2022, which just, joined us last year. And 50% of those students of that cohort are on aid, on financial aid. We offered 120 students 100% full scholarships, and 8% of those students have family income of less than 2 lakhs per annum, and we have 10% of the batch who are first generation college goers in their family. So this makes sure that we have diversity even at Ashoka as well. Sometimes it is known to be a kind of an elitist school, but that is not at all the case. We are, even our admissions process is very holistic. It is not only based on the marks. So it is based on the, it goes beyond cutoffs. So we look at students, not only through their academics, but through their writing communication, through a recommendation, through extracurriculars, how they have, put anything of themselves in depth into other activities outside of their curriculum. And yeah, and we also have an aptitude assessment that we have ourselves, an internal one, an on-the-spot essay. And then finally, if you get shortlisted, you go for the interview.
And what is the clearance rate for students? Like how many apply and how many join and how many are rejected? How many are rejected? Sort of an idea.
Okay, so that is something that, from the administrative level, we can't share, I'm sorry
Okay.
to say,
No
but
problem. No problem.
it's believed to be a fairly selective process.
Hmm.
But at the same time, it's not a student, a Mayo College Ajmer or a Doon School student is not the only student that will get in. We have students from all over, from all sections, so even when we assess a candidate, we assess them in their own context. So meaning that, we are not going to compare a student from Kendriya Vidyalaya to a student from, Doon School, or a student from Tibetan Children's Village to a student from Rwanda, because we have students from 18 different countries represented at Ashoka. So that's why, we cannot look at students. We have to look at a candidate depending on the kind of resources and facilities that have been given to them in life. We can't judge them outside of that context. So that is the promise that we give. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, ठीक है मैम ये तो मैम it's very innovative and I did not expect this but this is very nice. Maybe अगर कोई student, like what I'm thinking here is if someone is really innovative, so in your university he has the chance to explore his own innovativeness and without any restriction on, let's say, being judged, because many times if you're innovative you are judged and you're said कि नहीं तुम तो marks के लिए नहीं पढ़ रहे, you are, you're not, you're a fool in a way. So in your university, if he comes there, so he can explore a lot of things and then he can look into क्या होगा. Okay then, and ma'am, अगर ये करते हैं हम, we go through this whole process because this is very well defined process. I can understand, very subjective and okay. Placements कैसे हैं? Because at the end थोड़ा तो matter करता ही है. So how
Oh,
would be the
absolutely.
placements?
Yes, yes. We fully respect that because, especially private education, I believe is quite, is believed to be an investment by parents and students as well, and by the school system in general. So we respect that, and just want to share that there is an office called the Career Development Office. So
Mm-hmm.
this functions. The CDO functions a little bit like a placement cell, but it has a lot more to do. It does a lot more than than a placement cell. So what the CDO does is that, it organizes workshops like business analytics workshops, and they do that. It's done with a lot more. With industry leaders, for example, they'll get somebody from Microsoft, they'll get somebody from Google, or Bain and Company, and do a workshop with our students. And you also get to learn how to sit for an interview, whether it's an academic interview or a business interview. And at the end of every year, so at the end of your first year to the end of your second year, we have a very long summer because our semester system completely reflects that of the US system. So at the end of every year, we have a long summer. We have about 3 months of summer. So this summer, in this 3 months, you can intern. So most of our students are actually encouraged to do internships, or they can even go for a summer abroad program. So this internship, this is something that the Career Development Office also helps students with. And so by the time you graduate, after your first year, second year is over, by the time you graduate, you already have a really good idea of the kind of industry that you want to get into, the kind of, not only the sector and the industry, but the kind of work environment, because you've already managed to, meet with a lot of people from Google, from Microsoft, not only that, with smaller companies as well, which are doing really well. So whether you want to start your own company or you want to join another organization, you have a very good idea of the industry. So this is, and this is across the board from literature students. I know that, a couple of weeks ago, we had a business analytics workshop, and the final year students in the third year and fourth year, all of them, including the literature students, it was mandatory for them to attend this. So, this is something that is maybe kind of different. So this is last year's batch. This is, the batch that graduated last year, and the total number of offers exceeded the number of students that were placed. So, it's more than 100% placement. We're very happy about that. Considering the fact that, our students started graduating only from 2017 onwards, because we started our UG program in 2014. So I think this is a good statistic.
And ma'am, you were saying that the founders are also from so many industries.
Exactly.
Like you said, even Infosys chairman is founder for this. So आपके पास industry types तो बहुत अच्छे होंगे ही.
Yes, that's right. The exposure is there. Although, I think it's a very fair process. If you can't get in, if you don't deserve to, you won't get in. But the exposure is definitely there.
Opportunities is there.
Exactly.
The opportunities there. Okay.
Yeah.
Ma'am, one student, okay, ma'am, you can continue with this. No problem. One student is actually asking, what are the courses? So maybe after this, we can just show him the slide of all the courses that are available.
Sure. Definitely, we can do that. Yeah. So this is 23 lakhs per annum is the highest salary offered. This is just for the third year graduates. For the fourth year graduates, the average salary goes up to 10.5 lakhs per annum, which is, I think, equal to or a little bit higher than the St. Stephen's salary, and it's definitely higher than the average for Delhi University. Now, this is the placements. Last year, we had more than 250 organizations coming in to recruit from Ashoka. You can also go to the Recruit from Ashoka page on the website, on our website. But we've chosen these companies, because these are the top in their field. But this is across sectors, as you can see, from research to startups to management, etc. And these are the top organizations that our students have got placed in, at least one student from Ashoka. That's why we've chosen to show you this. And, lastly, with regard to placements, I like showing these slides because they give you a good profile of the students. So you see, not only what the student majored in, but what they did, during their summer at Ashoka, where they interned, and what kind of roles were offered to them. So here, Deva's major was in computer science. He had interned with McKinsey & Company. He was offered the role of a full stack developer at 2 different organizations. And of course, you have higher education options as well. Some of our students don't want to work immediately after they graduate. So they decide to go into higher education. So these are the kind of, options. Aishi Jain basically got admission into practically every university that she applied to. She'd interned at Procter & Gamble, McCann, and IMRB International. So yeah, I like talking about Priya Rathore because her major was in humanities, pure humanities, political science. And she was offered the role of business analyst at McKinsey & Company. Now, McKinsey & Company were completely shocked to find not only Priya, but many of her other batchmates in humanities had the data analytics and the business skills to be able to function very well in a field as a field like business analytics at McKinsey. So I think this is a success story of liberal education and the way we're doing it at Ashoka as well in a very short period of time.
And ma'am, at the graduate level, you do not have BTech, right? There's one student asking this.
No, we don't offer any technical courses. We offer, pure science, or, we offer natural sciences, social sciences, and humanities courses. Yeah. But BTech, the difference between a BSc in computer science at Ashoka University and between a BTech, I think it's really important for you to do the research as students because a BTech sometimes can narrow you down, which is why a lot of IITs have also started embracing, they found that, you can't know only what is being taught to you in college or only what is being taught to you inside the classroom. So I think, not to put down any particular university, but I think being able to adapt in this really rapidly changing environment where you need technology, you need anthropology and psychology and politics and economics, where you need a really good grasp of all of these things to be able to function very normally. I think
why anthropology?
But why not? I would rather say, because
I thought it was a dead subject. I thought why would I read anthropology? If you could just tell me why. Anthropology means like finding out about fossils and things, and यही तो होता है ना शायद anthropology.
No, anthropology is the study of social systems.
Okay, it's a social systems.
Yes, whether they
Okay.
existed 2000 years ago or 5000 years
Okay.
ago or today,
Yeah, that
it's
makes sense.
really,
हाँ,
yeah.
वो तो ठीक है. I thought it was like making fossils and finding out why human
That's just
mankind,
one part of it. Yes. Yeah.
maybe the study of civilization. Okay, if we study societies, then we can gain a little bit more insights into how we are going. Complex systems.
Yes. What does
Complex
Maggie
systems.
mean to us in Indian society? What does Maggie mean to us? That's an anthropological question.
Maggie,
Maggie, Maggie
as in
noodles.
the eating.
What? Yes, yes. What
Okay.
does Maggie mean to us in our society? That can be approached from an anthropological situation or
It's
question as well.
it's an
So
evening snack or something, like when we are hungry and it's a fast meal, like a fast food, Indian fast
yes,
food sort
but
of
it,
thing.
yeah, but it might mean so much more than that. You know, as Indians, we connect with Maggie
Yeah, yeah,
as a
sure.
brand so much more deeply. So that I'm just giving you an example of what of how relevant anthropology is. You know, anthropology can be looked at to study our social systems today very, very much. So
Ma'am,
that's why.
is it not same as sociology then?
So we offer anthropology in connection with sociology.
Okay,
So yeah, sociology is the more theoretical pursuit. Anthropology is the more
applied.
is the more applied side of it. Yeah, that's right.
Mhm. Okay, okay,
So
okay.
I believe the question was about the courses, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
next question.
The student is Rajiv. Rajiv is asking, like, ma'am, what are the courses offered by Ashoka University?
All right. So, like I said, we had covered a little bit of this earlier, but the undergraduate program at Ashoka will give you 2 degrees, either a BA or a BSc degree, honors degrees. And you will be able to choose between these 21 different majors, from biology to history to all of these. And you will have 1.5 years to actually come to a conclusion of what exactly you're passionate about, what you're good at, and what you can consistently be good at also. So you have enough time to make up your mind about a particular subject. So only at the end of 3 semesters will Ashoka ask you to declare what your major is going to be. So this, you can take a snapshot of this, or you can take a look at it later maybe. But these are our 21 different majors. Economics and finance is offered as a BSc, but economics is offered as a BA degree. And uh, you know, we have minors as well. So minors is completely optional. Minors, we don't, these are smaller degrees. You just do 6 courses in a particular discipline. So you can choose to take minors from any one of these in the third column. You can also choose to do a minor in any one of these in the first column as well. And they will show your curiosity, although they're completely optional. If you show, they will be reflected. They won't be reflected in your degree. They'll be reflected in your transcript. So to a future employer or to a future higher education institution, it will show your diversity of learning, your curiosity of learning, which people are starting to appreciate even in India more and more. Places like McKinsey, Google, RBL, all of these places. Um, Co-curriculars now, it is mandatory for you to have 2 co-curriculars as part of any Indian university in compliance with the UGC. At Ashoka, we offer 6 different co-curriculars, and they are offered by leading faculty, award-winning faculty. You'll be studying film with a filmmaker and so on. And this is basically practical and theoretical training in an art form or a language.
Okay.
And finally, we have the 4th-year program that I would love to tell you about. So this 4th-year program offers you a separate diploma altogether, as you can see. Internally, we also call it the Ashoka Scholars Program. So this 4th-year program, you can do 2 or 3 few key things here. The first is, you can do an advanced major. This advanced major allows you to continue studying the subject that you had just completed your degree and do even further research in it. So you can work as a teaching fellow or a teaching assistant to your faculty. You can teach your juniors as well. You can help in research writing, and you can write a long paper or a thesis of your own. You can work on a capstone project, for example.
And then
And
advanced major, if I do advanced major, I still do get awarded the same degree. Like if I was a BA psychology and I do advanced major, still it is BA psychology. It does not become MA psychology or something like this,
no.
or
So you will
dual
get
degree.
you'll get a BA psychology, and you will also get a postgraduate diploma in advanced studies and research in psychology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It's a PG
And this,
diploma.
Yeah, yeah. And if your thesis, your final year, fourth year thesis is of good academic standing and
Mhm.
really, if it's really appreciated, you will actually have the opportunity to get into a fully funded PhD program at a university like Oxford, Harvard, or LSD, or LSE.
Ma'am, is
Great.
this guaranteed, or how does this work? Is it
So
an
I'll just,
association?
if I may just, I'll
Yeah,
just
sure, sure,
let you
please.
know. This is not for all students. Many of our students after their fourth year also go for their masters, for their and other higher education options as well, or they decide to work. But a few of our students who have had outstanding research thesis, so they have been actually accepted into Oxford, into LSE, and into Harvard as well. So I think this speaks to the level of research, the quality of research at the university, that students have been able to bypass the masters, the MPhil that is usually required to do a PhD. And these are fully funded programs as well. This does not mean that all of them do it. A smaller number do it if your research is good. But it means that students can be capable and they're enabled by this really excellent faculty as well. And so that is one thing that you can do. Another thing you can do is you can convert your pre-existing minor into an equivalent major by taking more courses in that minor. So suppose you've been majoring in biology, your minor was in philosophy. You can take up more, if you want to, you can take up more courses in your philosophy in your fourth year and graduate at the end of your 4 years with a double bachelor's degree. Similarly, you can do the same for all of the different pure majors, minors in all of the different pure majors. You cannot convert these minors into a pure major, but you can convert these minors into a pure major. So I hope that helps. And finally, there are some students who enjoy Ashoka so much that they decide to stay back for the fourth year and take up more minors. They don't necessarily take up more, decide to convert their minors into majors, but they stay back for a fourth year just to learn a little bit more.
Study more. Okay. Okay.
And
Okay.
we offer 7 disciplines at the PhD level as well. Yeah.
7 disciplines. Okay. Okay. Ma'am, this was very interesting. I'll just look into the questions if students have more questions. Okay.
Sure,
So,
sure.
okay. Ma'am, one student is asking if you can tell us, you showed us some alumni, you showed us some students who were placed. Are there more alumni who are well known and maybe we can relate to?
Well, we've had, if you Google some alumni, some of the recent ones have started um,
Companies or something?
yeah, they've started, they've had some startups. I can send you a list of them actually
Sure, sure.
from the center. We have different centers of entrepreneurship, etc. So some of them have started, they've had some startups. I'll send you the list.
Okay. And ma'am, one more question is how much is the total strength of UG? How much are the seats and how much is the intake and how much do you actually admit?
Okay. So usually I'll, I can answer some parts of that question, Sagar.
Okay,
So
maybe how many students are studying, like which you can tell us?
in the beginning, in the very beginning, when we started UG in 2014, we admitted about 120, 130 students. Every year we've been increasing it little by little. So now, the last year we've taken in about 650 odd students in the first year in the cohort. So this year as well, we're looking at similar numbers, maybe with a slight increment. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Ma'am, anything you would like to add from your side, because this was very interesting for me because I'm in that field. That's why.
Thank you so much for your question, Sagar. There's so much information out there, and I would really ask questions to the students also to pursue your curiosity, whether it's for liberal arts, whether it's for anything else. This is something that I wanted to add that it's there are no questions that are too silly that even especially as students, you must answer those questions. Do research, do your own research into the university. Don't look at universities only in terms of ranking or only in terms of reputation or whether they have legacy or no legacy or whether maybe Ashoka, not because of, I'm not saying that because of this webinar, you should go into Ashoka University. This is just an added exposure to what is out there. Keep attending these kind of webinars. Keep yourself in the loop. Now you have, Google at your fingertips. Look at placement statistics. Look at, all sorts of things that you are interested in. Even from Delhi University or any other university, you can always Google or find out what is happening out there. According to the, about the universities that you're interested in or the courses, what kind of faculty is teaching those courses, that sort of thing. So I think, as long as you do your research, I think that you will have no fear.
Okay. So from all the students who have been watching this with us, and even from my side, ma'am, thanks a lot for coming on to our channel. This has actually, to be very truthful, opened a new way of thinking in my head, which I thought was maybe imaginary, and maybe that doesn't happen in colleges, I thought till now. But now when I've seen your whole PPT and I've talked to you, and because of even this PPT, if maybe if someone else would have presented, or maybe if this might have been someone else's university's PPT, maybe I would have questioned in a way like, kitna implement ho pa raha hai? But now looking the way you were talking and the words you were using, so I could understand that there is this culture inside university which is very liberal, and people are being curious and looking towards it. So I was very impressed, and it has opened my mind also, and maybe to help me to counsel students in later stages. So thank you all the students who joined us today. ये एक बहुत अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटी थी, जो जब मेरे लिए ही ये नया था, आई थिंक सो आपके लिए भी ये काफी नया रहा होगा कि इस तरह के स्ट्रक्चर के साथ भी इंडिया में पढ़ाई हो रही है, इफेक्टिवली हो रही है, प्लेसमेंट्स भी अच्छे मिल रहे हैं, एंड प्लस जैसे मैम ने खुद ही एंड में कहा कि आप अपनी रिसर्च भी करिए. बट जो हमने देखा आज, जो प्रोफेसर्स देखे, तो अब उनसे इंटरेक्ट करके केवल 15-20 मिनट भी अगर आप उनसे बात करेंगे, डीपर कॉन्वर्सेशंस में जाएंगे, डेफिनेटली आपके दिमाग खुद ही खोलेंगे, बिकॉज समवन हैज वेरी राइटली सेड दैट टीचिंग इज नॉट अबाउट टेलिंग यू समथिंग और मेकिंग यू लर्न समथिंग, इट इज जस्ट मेकिंग यू रीच द स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट ऑफ योर माइंड एंड मेकिंग यू क्यूरियस इनफ दैट यू योरसेल्फ एंटर इट, तो वो खुद ही आ जाता है. सो थैंक यू एवरीवन, कीप वॉचिंग करियर कुल, द एजुकेशनल गुरुकुल. थैंक यू वेरी मच.